You've been doing this work for nearly 20 years. What was the thing that first pulled you into care management and what kept you in it?
I have always had an affinity for working with seniors, and I worked in social services and nursing homes, and I just always enjoyed seniors. I feel like they have such a wealth of knowledge to share with us. And I was working with a home care agency, helping them hire and train caregivers. And the owner said, maybe you should be a care manager. And at that time, about 20 years ago, it wasn't really a field and it was nothing that I had heard about. So I pursued that. I went online, became certified as a geriatric care manager, and took it off from there. And now it's a growing field. But still, many doctors, when I go into a doctor's office with a client, have never heard of a geriatric care manager.
So, when a family first calls you, what has usually already happened? Can you walk me through a real call, what they say in the first few minutes? Or
Yes, often I get a call that says, a friend of mine told me I needed to call Julie. I was in town and my mom seems to be struggling. She seems to be more forgetful. She's resisting care. She is missing appointments, that sort of thing. Oftentimes mom, usually seems to be the mom, looks disheveled, maybe. There's old food in the refrigerator, and children are often overwhelmed by what's going on. They sometimes live far away and are not able to be there to watch over the daily care of their parents. And sometimes I get a call from a sibling of someone that is older and struggling, and they don't know what to do because we're not taught about this, especially how to care for an aging sibling.
so help us here. What are some of the early signals that families tend to dismiss?
I would say not paying bills. They'll get bill notices. They start getting disoriented when they're out, sometimes driving around. They get lost. Eating seems to be a big thing. Like they don't feel that their mother or father is eating properly. There's not food in the fridge, or sometimes there's old food in the fridge. Falls. A lot of time mom is falling. Repeated hospitalizations. That's a very big one.
So, in your experience, what do the proactive families do differently?
They start looking around for resources in the area that their parent lives. They start making calls to people like me, just, any suggestions that I can make. Bringing in home care. Most often, people are resistant to having somebody come into their home because they don't feel that they need that kind of attention and care. Sometimes getting somebody in there a couple hours a day, a couple times a week to help with light housekeeping, laundry, just companionship. So children being proactive in that way is really helpful. Starting to communicate with other members of the family, because sometimes it's one person in the family is like, you know what, mom just doesn't seem like things are going well. And another person is like, what? She's fine. I talked to her on the phone. She seems good. But getting them together, and sometimes if they live far apart, doing a Zoom call, maybe at mom's house or dad's house. And those things can be helpful. Starting to talk to them about potentially moving into senior living, starting to plant that seed can be helpful.
So, there's a pattern that seems to be emerging among multiple guests that I had here, and that is that a lot happens between visits from family and professionals when there's no professional in the room and the family is just guessing. So, what's going on with the parent in that space, and how would the family even know about that?
Think that the parents feel that things are going just fine. They don't see the slow decline, the slow kind of wear on the house. Things are just not being kept up as well. So they're little things and they're incremental things that the person might not notice on their own. And so having somebody come in more often to the house is helpful. The kids can't always do that, but having somebody from outside come in and just do an assessment of the situation can be helpful. Talking to doctors, talking to the parents' doctors is super helpful. Sometimes I'll suggest that people call the doctor. If they're the power of attorney for healthcare, doctors will generally talk with them. Even if they're not, doctors might listen to them.
You're also an end-of-life doula. What does that work let you see that care management does not?
I became an end-of-life doula about 5 years ago, and it has been really helpful for me in my work as a care manager because they do go kind of hand in hand. The legal parts of things are very important as an end-of-life doula, making sure that care plans are in place, powers of attorney for healthcare and property. I like to talk with the parents about, what do you see yourself? What do you see the end of your life looking like? People are afraid to talk about end of life. I try to open up the conversation so that it's more giving people the autonomy to choose what the end of their life might be. As an end of life doula, I work as a liaison often between families and medical professionals, helping their parents make their own roadmap for the end of their life. People don't know all the choices that are available to them. I would say, as an end of life doula, I'm in more of a position to help families understand what the end of life, what dying looks like. And I help them understand that dying is not just a medical thing, it's a human thing. All of us are going to die. The body knows how to die. So when somebody is dying, I can help the family say, this is normal. This is just how somebody goes through this end of life phase. And hopefully they have talked to their parent about what they want. Do you want to die at home? Do you want to die in a hospital? Do you want to die in a hospice home? There's lots of options.
And there's a lot of stigma attached to it. So do you find that people open up easier to an expert who's seen this before about their preferences, for example?
Yes, absolutely. Because I'm not the daughter coming in saying, Mom, you're going to die. What do you want to do? I'm just a person coming in. I'm an objective person. I can talk with them about what their life has looked like and how they would like it to end. I read the book by Atul Gawande, Being Mortal, and I'm paraphrasing, but one of the things he said is the end of your life, it's not about a good death. It's about living a good life until the end. And so I come in from a more just an open general standpoint, and people seem to open up to that.